Martin Smith from eNCA Capital joins me now to discuss these movements further. Martin, let's start with the local unit. Yesterday it was pretty weak ahead of the MPC decision, in fact for most part of this week, and then it fell by about 20 cents after the interest rate hike happened. I mean, your thoughts on the Rand's movements before we get into how the markets closed the day?
So yeah, the Rand was absolutely a lot weaker this week. We thought perhaps it's kind of pricing in what the MPC might do today. But it was kind of counterintuitive that it's weakened the way it has. I mean, economics 101 would dictate that if it went up by 25 basis points, interest rates, that the Rand would strengthen, but it actually weakened. And I think, kind of reading between the lines, I think there was a comment that was made around our current account surplus, the current one that we are experiencing, and that it might turn into a deficit early next year. I'm not a big one, but that swing, I think, is what's caused the currency to move a little weaker on the back of what we saw today.
What about your thoughts on the MPC decision anyway, and the indication by the governor that their quarterly projected models indicates that there will be increases over the next 3 years?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are in a rate hiking environment, make no mistake of it. But I think let's also just take a little step back. If we look at the 25 basis points hike that we got today, it's actually quite small relative to other emerging markets. I mean, we've seen Russia and Mexico getting 75 basis points hike recently, Brazil as much as 3% this year. So relative to other emerging markets, not quite as extreme, but yeah, we're definitely in a rate hiking cycle. It was very, very kind of anticipating what they were going to do. Like you said, pretty much split. I mean, economists were saying that probably not going to happen on balance of things, but the market in some ways was pricing in if you look at what the bond market was saying. So very, very interesting. I thought they weren't going to do it, but yeah, I think if it wasn't today, it was going to be early next year.
Absolutely. Martin, we don't have a lot of time left, but I want to get into some company statements released today. We had Investec results, some news there about plans by Investec to distribute a stake of about 15% in 91 directly to its shareholders. Your thoughts on that announcement and just generally what their books are looking like? Yeah, so I mean, you had that announcement along with a cash dividend as well. So quite a attractive distribution that you're getting from Investec, and it's one that we've liked for a long time. It's somewhat been underwhelming in recent years, but this year things have really started to kind of tick up nicely for the company. It's up over 100% year to date, and I think the thing about Investec is it was quite a value play for a while, looking like quite an attractive share from a valuation perspective, but now they're actually starting to put the runs on the board from an earnings perspective, and we really like that, along with a kind of return on equity profile. So we like the business. It's done very well, and I think happy to continue holding from here. I'm sure shareholders are also liking Life Healthcare at the moment. They're announcing in their results that they are reinstating their dividends, but they do warn their shareholders, Martin, that the tough times are still not over, especially with that anticipated fourth wave.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, 75% of their business is South African. So if we get that wave, it's obviously going to affect them because people stop going for elective surgeries and the like when COVID numbers spike up. So that's kind of where the margin is for them, is when people go for the electives. But overall, I think it's starting to look quite positive. Things are ticking up nicely. Their earnings were ahead of expectations. They're still 40% below pre-pandemic levels in their South African business. So at least that can rebase quite nicely. But I think the two things for me that are quite attractive about this business is their international operations. I mean, they're 80% above pre-pandemic levels. So it's been growing really, really well for them internationally. And they've also got an Alzheimer's drug that might come on board, or Alzheimer's solution that might come on board, which will be very, very profitable for them from a revenue perspective, probably 20 to 25% kind of accretive from a revenue perspective. So I think things are looking very positive for this business.
Absolutely. Martin Smith, as always, thank you very much for your time this evening. He's from eNCA Capital, and he was wrapping up the markets a day that was